Thanks, Goose. Well, the more PC indie games we're seeing pop up on Steam through their community-voted system, the more I'm starting to get excited about the possibilities, Barjo.
Yeah, me too. And we've seen a few hits and a fair few misses, but it's interesting to see what early ideas the community latches onto.
Well, Mind Path to Thalamus is another such game that got the go-ahead. At first glance, yes, it is a floaty existential walking puzzle game. But then stepping into this, wow, I had to hastily pick my jaw up from off the floor. I mean, beautiful doesn't even come close.
As far as intros go, this throws you into a pretty incredible sequence of panic and natural disaster.
Where are you? Pull out me, please!
It's a great way to draw you in and set things up, but unfortunately it's ruined pretty quickly by some awful voiceover work.
How many times will I kill her? I've asked myself that question 1,000 times. It was always there, flying around my head like my own personal vulture, waiting for me to die and scavenge my corpse.
Yeah, there's very little left to subtlety here or piecing together of story. You're told right from the beginning that your daughter has died and you're burdened with guilt. And while you'll enter some incredibly abstract and symbolic areas, this annoying narrator is basically painting a picture for you of what it all means.
Yeah, the writing is pretty clumsy. It's got this pompous inner monologue thing happening that sounds like it's been written by a high school student who's just gone nuts on a thesaurus trying to ace an essay. I did that a lot.
At long last, I would see the Thalamus, the sacred tree, the root and end of it all. From the moment I saw it, I knew there was something intangible about it.
Yeah, it's just one of those games where you just want to be like, shh, I can do this without you.
Yeah, and it's such a shame because the puzzles are actually quite good, aren't they?
They are. They start off simple with some basic platforming, though at times you do have to think outside the box. Trying to navigate areas with invisible structures, for example, and surfaces that aren't solid even though they appear to be. It's all a bit wacky, but that suits the very surreal surroundings really well, I think.
You're often following the floating drawings of your lost daughter, talking about how you just want to find her again, and this is often interspersed with some strange journey through what seem like brain synapses or something.
Like you're exploring your own subconscious mind, which ties into the game's title as the thalamus is a crucial part of the human brain.
Yes, as far as concepts go, it's all a bit out there, but I found myself happily committing to this one quite quickly because A, you're walking at a half-decent pace, and B, the puzzles get steadily more unique and challenging. And it's so refreshing, Hex, because both of those things are normally where these kinds of games go wrong.
As you continue to explore new areas and landscapes, each more stunning than the last, the challenges will shift and evolve. Some puzzles involve careful timing and the movement and placement of these ball things, which look like little bundles of veins or nerves.
I always enjoyed that mechanic that triggered night, where everything takes on a new kind of beauty. I know we've already talked about this a lot, but the art design just got better and better the more we played.
Yeah, plus there's consideration placed into the function of every aesthetic mechanic, which makes for puzzle solving that's both captivating and challenging. Each change you trigger in the world has an additional effect. Night brings forth portals, rain raises platforms, and these cogs affect time, changing the seasons and bringing old ruins back to their former glory for you to climb on.
It's a world that you just want to spend time in. It's just such a shame that it was constantly sullied by that intrusive narration.
Yeah.
Forgive me. No one else could.
Plus, some of those subconscious-based levels where you're just wandering around on brain pathways, they were a little lazy.
Yeah, all the sections where you weren't really puzzle solving, but just outrunning some giant stomping mine monster, those felt a bit tedious. I think it's because they don't really involve skill, you're just moving through the actions for the sake of symbolism.
And I suppose that's the developers just trying to find a way to visually express what the protagonist is going through.
It all seems so anticlimactic.
It's interesting that so many of these kinds of games are dealing with concepts of death and emotional trauma.
Yeah, I think it's great that we're seeing more mature and complex subject matter in this medium. I think indie games are seeing a gap there and trying to fill it.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I just think it's getting to the point where it's bordering on cliche a little bit.
Yeah, when it comes to story and games like this, sometimes a simpler narrative can be better.
Yeah, I mean, just that the puzzles and the setting do the work.
I don't need all the brain stuff and the psychobabble. Personally, I would have preferred to piece together everything through the visuals and these fantastic set pieces that they've created.
I totally agree. What are you going to give it?
I'm giving it 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give it 7 as well.
It was all over in a split second. No dramatic exit.